Britain's coastline is breathtaking. And it's astonishing scenery like this that creates a yearning to live in a fabulous home by the sea. There's a magnetic attraction that seems to draw us to the ocean, and once under its spell, it's almost impossible to resist. Last summer, I had a unique opportunity to explore some of Britain's best seaside homes. But that journey was just a drop in the ocean when it comes to the amazing coastal properties and awe-inspiring locations that we have in these islands. I'll discover how the elements helped shape the architecture of our seaside towns.
Look at this!
I'll design my own fantasy coastal houses.
I think it's pretty bonkers, but then so's that thing. Look at it.
And meet more people lucky enough to call our superb shoreline home.
Here we are, the wilds of rural Scotland.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Shall I get you a beer?
Yeah,
This week I'm visiting Northern Ireland, home to one of the most spectacular but least known coastlines in the whole of the British Isles. Where monumental cliffs give way to heavenly retreats. Bold new homes burst out of the woods, and designs of distinction bring out the best of the beach. This has got to be one of the most perfect places to build a house because you can see the surf break from bed. It doesn't get better than that. This coastline has seen a recent upsurge in visitors after long periods when it was overshadowed by the Troubles. And that means, for most of us, and me included, it is a genuine journey of discovery. And I'm interested to see if this place can live up to the hype in terms of beauty and spectacle. The coastal route from Belfast in the east to the border city of Derry, Londonderry, stretches for around 200 miles, including the extraordinary heritage shoreline around the Giant's Causeway. I'm starting my Irish pilgrimage in Belfast Lough. Bringing me ashore is Maria, a typical pilot boat that guides ocean-going liners through these waters. Belfast is rich in maritime history. It's where some of the world's most iconic ships, including the Titanic, were built. But I'm heading for somewhere with nautical routes that stretch even further back in time. The nearby town of Carrickfergus and its picturesque Norman Harbour. And it's home building, not shipbuilding, that I'm coming to Northern Ireland for. And I'm keen to see how Irish traditions are being fused with modern ideas to make some exciting seaside homes. Carrickfergus used to be the capital of Ulster, and with its imposing fortifications and ancient harbour, retains its air of historic significance. The past runs deep here, and just a short walk away from the quayside, a core of traditional cottages highlight why so many regard this place as romantic and picturesque. Now this is an Irish longhouse. It is the archetypal domestic architecture that you would find around here. Now originally there would have been just a couple of these scattered down the shore. Perfectly evolved for the climate, built using local materials. It's a rubble stone wall built with stone found on the beaches. The lime would have come locally, the timber in the roofs would have come from the woods over the back there, and even the thatch would have come from the fields. It's a wheat thatch, so again, locally sourced. Back in the day, The family who lived in this half of the building alone lived a mother and 10 children. So the idea of privacy and your own space, well, that simply didn't happen. And what's amazing about these buildings is they weren't designed. This piece of architecture evolved over many, many years, and it wasn't drawn anywhere. It sort of lived, it resided in people's brains. They pegged out the building, started creating, piling stones, and this little gem of a piece of architecture would slowly appear. But of course, that's not how modern homes are built. And just a few miles round Belfast Lough lies a house that epitomises the 21st century design-led process. I've come to Hollywood. Well, as you can see from the weather, not that one. I've actually just come east of Belfast. If you look back there, you can see the cranes of the shipyards where they built the Titanic. I'm here to visit a house just in the woods, which I'm led to believe would suit California just as much as Northern Ireland. Known as the 007 house, its secluded location and virtual invisibility in this thickly wooded hillside would suit any international man of mystery. And as I head to meet its owners, Robin and Julie Wilson and their daughter Zara, I can't help feeling I'm being watched. Hello.
Oh, hello.
You must be Robin.
I am, yeah.
You've got a very, very tall house.
Well, mix up for me, because I'm quite small.
Is that what it was? What, 1, 2, 3, 5 stories?
Yeah, 5.
5 stories?
Yeah.
But that keeps you fit.
It does.
Up close and personal, this house is intriguing. But stand back a little, and its true wonder is revealed. A towering triumph of asymmetrical design, it seems to burst out of the tree line. Its combination of Western red cedar weatherboarding and rendered concrete frame sweeping views over the loch. There's definitely something cinematic about this Hollywood superstar, and having to race up 4 flights of stairs before being granted an audience feels a bit James Bond too. Look at this, that's a pretty good view, isn't it? Wow. Tell me about the name of the house, I mean, there's an obvious 007 thing going on here, but why?
The 007 comes from the architect's design. When we designed the house, it was in 2007. Throughout the construction process, the building control people kept referring to it as the 007 house. And we thought to ourselves, well, it's a cool house, isn't it?
And it's just stuck.
And it's just stuck. You know, the fact that somebody else called it that first kind of gives you a license to call it yourself, because otherwise it would be very pretentious. Our house.
Inside, the house would do any Secret Service agent proud. A kitchen of polished quartz worktops and porcelain tiles, ideal for fixing the perfect martini. While a collection of classic Jacobsen and Van der Rohe furniture are perfect for even the coolest Cold War spy. It's a long way down. What happens when someone knocks on the door?
That's where I come in. That's where I run down the stairs and then back up again.
So you have to go and you're the automatic doorbell system, are you?
Yeah.
Door answering system.
Yeah.
How does it work actually living in the house? Because it is very tall.
Initially, you have all the steps to climb to get up here, but once you're up here, you're really still only living on 2 floors because the bedrooms are just down below.
4 bedrooms and their en-suites make up the space under our feet, with the main living accommodation inside this wooden pod, fronted by a staggering 7-metre-high bank of double-glazed windows. I mean, what I love about the design and the site is that you've got this epic view and height and scale on this side, but back there, you're in a nice kind of enclosed, close, wooded area. So there's this wonderful kind of disparity. And normally I'm not a massive fan of glass balustrades on stairs, but they work really well here because you're sort of at 90 degrees, you see, it's really see through it.
No, it's really great when you're, in the kitchen, you're able to talk to everybody here, but then you've got the fantastic view.
The building work took 18 months and involved scraping out 4,000 tonnes of hillside just to create enough space. To save costs, they lived rough for 6 months in the shell of the house, with no electricity or running water. But the pain's been worthwhile. And what I really love about this house is its complete lack of symmetry. Fantastic space up here, isn't there, in the kitchen? Everywhere you look, the perspective changes, a masterstroke in its overall design. It's a very interesting piece of geometry because everything seems to be slightly at different angles.
Yes, all 4 slopes on the roof are different, so it gives an interesting visual. Front of the house is like the lens of an eye.
This two-story glaze.
Two-story glaze there is a lens of an eye looking out over the lough beyond.
I've always fancied myself in a Bond film, and if I can't be the hero, I'll make do with the villain. Robin, an engineer, doesn't look much like a spy to me unless his wife and daughter are some fiendishly clever cover. But there's no doubt this house has left me both shaken and stirred. I'm still struggling to understand quite why it's called the 007 house. Let me ponder. On the next leg of my journey around Northern Ireland's coast, I visit the former painter's studio turned into a seaside work of art. Everywhere you look, they're perfectly framed pictures, aren't they, of the view? And I'll be coming to the rescue of the artist whose ambitious farmhouse restoration is in danger of falling off a cliff. This project needs a very clear master plan. Otherwise, everything else you're doing is kind of pointless. I'm in Northern Ireland to explore a region that boasts some wonderful homes by the sea. I started just 5 miles from the centre of Belfast with a breathtaking futuristic property. But now I'm heading north to the Causeway coast and the extraordinary beachside hamlet of Ballintoy. Even for someone raised on the epic seascapes of Cornwall and Australia, Northern Ireland has taken me aback. From precipitous cliffs to sandy beaches, the incredible drama of its shoreline just rolls on and on. This has to be home to some of the most remarkable rock structures anywhere. On a day like today, I don't think there's a piece of coastline anywhere on Earth as stunning as this. And part of what makes it so special is the incredible geology. You've got these huge lumps of black basalt next to shining white cliffs of limestone. And the next house I'm off to see is as quirky and unusual as these rock formations, and it's right here in Ballintoy. Basking in the warming waters of the Gulf Stream, on a day like this, it could almost be the Mediterranean. The palm trees, the azure seas, the whitewashed buildings. And then this. Looking every inch like a mansion transported from an Aegean hilltop, this is actually a remarkable piece of 30s adventurism. Built cube by cube, not by an architect, but by one of Northern Ireland's most cherished artists. And his creativity reaches down to the beach, where I have to negotiate the craziest set of steps. to reach its owners, Michael and Lorna Ferguson.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. They are very eccentric steps. That is a very eccentric looking house.
It certainly is, yes. It captures everybody's imagination.
So who built it?
Newton Penpraise. He was an artist from Cornwall. He came over here in 1912 to teach in the art college, and he bought this site and started building in 36 and spent 40 years building at it.
So it's sort of like a mini Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, you know, the Gaudi.
Absolutely.
It's taken 110, that's taken 40.
It's just magnificent. And on a day like this, it just makes your heart beat differently.
Bendu, which gets its name from the dark cliffs nearby, wasn't designed to be a house. Instead, Newton Penpraise planned it as an artist's colony, with studios and basic accommodation evolving each year as Penpraise added to his master plan. Everywhere you look, they're perfectly framed pictures, aren't they, of the view? That's incredible, isn't it? That's an incredible view.
Yes, it is, and it changes. It changes every 15 minutes, they say. It changes seasonally. It can be calm. It can be invigorating and
Low tide, high tide.
Absolutely.
Since buying the building 20 years ago, Michael and Lorna have painstakingly turned a crude concrete structure into a house of rare beauty. The original studios have been knocked through to create an open-plan kitchen diner and panoramic lounge, transforming a former balcony where budding Picasso's painted in the open air. So this used to be outside, and this was the balustrade on the balcony?
Yes, it was. But when we came here, we didn't know what we were going to do with this, and eventually we thought, well, we don't sit on this very often, and we decided to enclose it, and it was one of the best things we did. Because
so this is all being added, this is all...
Yes. In putting this room on, it allowed us to link the various open parts of the building together, which all had to be accessed from outside before.
With 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms and 2 kitchens, the house is now a picture of luxurious living. So this would have been the main painting studio with all these different windows.
Yeah, look how many there are. I think it was so that a student could sit at a window and each one would have a different view.
And now you get the most amazing place to wash up.
Yes, that's right.
You know what? I reckon even I'd wash up if I could wash up there.
Go ahead, Charlie.
There's no washing up. And this is a really interesting ceiling. And you've got this wonderful connection through to a bedroom upstairs. That lovely ceiling, that kind of coffered ceiling, that's very unusual. Below the artist's studios was where Penpraise lived and entertained, and wherever possible, the couple have tried to keep this part of the house as it was. That is totally unexpected. I didn't expect to see that at all. It's a timber-lined room in a kind of little, strange, modernist villa.
So that's all Penpraise's work?
I always find it very interesting when you see early modernist buildings, how they're obviously really thinking about the future, but they've very much got their foot in the past when you come in and see this kind of wainscot panelling everywhere, which is a complete throwback. This rich 1930s interior was recycled from the cabins of a pre-war ocean liner being refitted in the Belfast shipyards, and Penpraise used his own painting skills to embellish the ceilings. I think it's really interesting owning a house like this that's so iconic, because you never really own it, do you? You're just looking after it, because so many people have little memories and feel a sense of ownership of it because it's been such a part of their life.
Yes, custodians of it. Yes, and we feel like that. We feel we're adding to something, but mostly we've got a tremendous amount out of it personally.
I mean, on a day like today, that view, this house, spot on. From the peace and tranquility of Ballantoy, I'm going west along the Causeway coast to the holiday resort of Portrush. Built on a mile-long peninsula that strikes out into the North Atlantic, it's part of a stretch of coastline which has a very special place in Northern Irish hearts. Created for the Victorian tourists drawn to its 3 sandy beaches and bracing air, Portrush is where the country's summer holidays come alive. Traditional waterfront homes near its sheltered harbour are amongst the most sought after along this entire coast. And I'm here to find out just how competitive you need to be to get what you want. Julie Strang is lucky enough to own a house right in the front row.
Right, we all go in?
And knowing how I love to get the best vantage point, lent me one of her paddleboards so I could take in the Victorian promenade in all its glory before looking at the changes she's made inside.
Just watch out for the ropes.
Right. So, Julie, why did you end up here in Portrush?
Well, I'm obviously from Northern Ireland, and I'd lived in London for about 10 years after university. And then I think every Northern Irish girl just wants to come home. And my son Johnny was a year, and I thought, what a great lifestyle. North Coast, water, outdoors. So, yeah.
When you moved here, obviously, part of it was about the sea. Did you find something right on the sea?
One of the challenges is that houses on this street where I live, just up here on Kerr Street, they're not very often on the market. So when one
people keep hold of them.
Yeah. So when one comes available, regardless of its aspect or the state it's in, if you want to live here, you've just got to go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
We should go and have a look at it.
Yeah, sure.
Come on then. It's a house with 2 very different sides. And later... Can't see a bell and not ring it, can you? I'll be finding out how Julie rang the changes to turn it into a beach home bursting with style. And drastic action is needed to rescue restoration plans for this dilapidated farmhouse. In an ideal world, you'd move out, strip the building to the bare stone, and work it all the way back up. I'm in Northern Ireland, visiting some fabulous homes on its spectacular coastline. So far, I've been to a groundbreaking woodland home in Belfast and a former artist's studios transformed into an iconic beachside home. Now I'm in the seaside resort of Portrush, where Julie Strangs put some va-va-voom into her Victorian waterfront villa. So from the outside, your house is a bit grey and pebble dash.
It's decidedly ugly. It's decidedly ugly.
I'm glad
it's like
you said
something
that.
out of the 70s, yeah.
I'm glad you said that. But inside, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's still
lovely.
a bit of a mix, but yeah, it's much different inside.
But what's nice about it is you can touch and feel and read the original house. You know, it's not been completely obliterated.
No, it's not. And essentially, you know, it's a Victorian terrace, so we had to retain some of that character.
A restored parquet floor reclaimed from a school in nearby Coleraine and handmade kitchen table and seating make sure Julie's open-plan kitchen dining area is the hub of the house. While statement wallpaper and furnishings give this ground floor a sense of drama.
The challenge is the room's quite small and I wanted somewhere where we could live, the kids could enjoy the view, and you're not continually stressing about, you know, marks on the table, wine getting spilled.
This is the centre of the house. And how many people can you get round it?
I can get 12.
12?
Yeah.
No flying room there.
Finger food only.
Right, looking lovely. Should we go and look around upstairs?
Yeah, sure.
Can't see a bell and not ring it, can you? What's that for?
Yeah, well, I've got a butler. Did I not tell you?
Heading up from the modern flourishes downstairs, the interior dynamics start to change. The thing, as you come up the house, the view gets better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. There's much more light. It's lovely.
And it's nice to have a sitting room on the first floor so you can sit in the chair and just watch the world go by.
Very peaceful.
And also when you're out paddleboarding, you can go, oh, I can just imagine being up there warm and dry.
Sometimes it's the only thing that gets me back to shore, yeah.
Victorian homes on the seafront like this are highly desirable, but also notorious for swallowing money. Since moving in a year ago, Julie has spent £60,000 on renovations, half structural, half on stamping her personality on the rooms, though that became something of a challenge in her master bedroom on the top floor. This is quite an unusual space to find at the top of the house, completely open like this.
Yeah, no, it's really nice and light and breezy.
Was there a bathroom up here?
Yeah, there was a bathroom and this unusual glass cubing, which I actually like. I think it's got a bit...
retro.
Yeah, but you see, the whole house is a mix of every style, really.
I think it kind of works.
It kind of works now, and we've opened up the bathroom and the panelling I had put in so that we still have that beachy feel and a bit of continuity throughout the house.
They say you can experience all 4 seasons in a day in Portrush. And with a picture window on every floor, this transformed Victorian villa provides the perfect setting to read what's on the horizon. The issue about living out here so close to the kind of raw power of the Atlantic is that the weather defines so much of what you do. I mean, look, it's turned, the wind's got up, the rain's come in, you know, and a lovely sunny morning is a memory, but I suppose that's part of the charm.
Yeah, I'm just glad we went paddleboarding first thing.
So you knew. You're getting a kind of your intuition is there now. It was a good move. With an impressive coastline full of infinite variety, anyone looking to buy here can have their pick of homes in plenty of shapes and sizes too. Sitting above the bay at Glen Arif with uninterrupted views out to sea, this charming 2-bedroom, carefully restored cottage was part of an estate once owned by Sir Winston Churchill. With its own rocky foreshore, there'll be no fighting on the beaches here, though there might be on the price, £350,000. The boathouse is the flagship of a new development in Ballygally. With 3 bedrooms and a double-decker floor-to-ceiling windows, it faces out to the Irish Sea. £250,000 could see you hop aboard. Hollywood by postcode, star home by nature. This 6-bedroomed mansion is in one of Northern Ireland's most sought-after locations. The house was built in 1971, and its owners have retained a very distinct retro 70s vibe. Soccer legend George Best was reportedly a regular guest, and at £1.2 million, you might need a footballer's salary to afford it. From Portrush, I'm heading to the village of Carnlough in the heart of the Antrim Coast and Glens. Part of an 80-mile stretch of cliffs, broken by 9 glacial valleys which taper into the sea. It's another place with a sheltered harbour. The village grew up to serve the important stone quarries nearby, so it's a place where building has always been at the fore. For my next property, I'm off to see a little farm that has the biggest sea views. But from what I understand, the owners need a little bit of help to keep their dream renovation project on track. Most of the people I've met on this coastal exploration of Britain are lucky enough to have already created their ideal home by the sea. But few have had such a vast canvas to work with, as the couple who've taken on this 60-acre chunk of real estate with a dilapidated farmstead at its heart. Artist Elizabeth McGill and her partner Jeremy Hughes want to create both a studio and a home here, in a place that's been unoccupied for the past 15 years. I'm not sure I really need to ask this, because it is such a beautiful place, but why did you end up here?
I suppose I've been looking for a few years over here, because I grew up close to this.
Okay.
And I've been looking for a while, because I've been based in London for over 30 years, and I was trying to think of somewhere.
You were pulled back home, were you?
I was more looking for somewhere that had a kind of horizon, like you can see, like somewhere you could sort of expand your thoughts or your mind.
Was this a vision that you both shared?
I had a much more of a desire to be up in the mountains, and Elizabeth wanted to be near the sea. So the wonderful thing about this place is we've got best of both worlds.
Yes, I know, let's go where the mountains meet the sea. That's perfect.
Yes.
What condition was the farmstead in when you bought it?
Oh, it's pretty bad. It hadn't been lived in for, was it 10, 15 years?
With so much potential, it's easy to see why they've fallen in love with such a great collection of buildings. Hopefully I can give some useful tips as they show me their progress so far. Removing the farmhouse's pebble-dash render to reveal its original facade of basalt and limestone is a canny start.
We took it off mainly because the house was damp.
Yeah, it's the problem with it, isn't it? Is that, yes, it stops the rain driving in through the joints in the stone, but any moisture that does get in behind it can't get out. So you get very, very damp houses. Before the couple bought the house 2 years ago, it had tumbled so low down the pecking order, it was being used as a loft for racing pigeons. They've begun to make it habitable, but only just.
We've got to sort out heating the
And
house
also
and insulating the floor.
The floor, because there's no foundations to this.
I can almost feel it.
Yeah, the cold.
Do you know what I mean? I can feel the cold through my shoes.
And that's where the damp.
And I can feel the damp coming through. I mean, I think your first priority has got to be smashing out that floor, getting some insulation, and getting a damp-proof membrane, a big, thick plastic sheet underneath it.
You're absolutely right.
Jeremy's living here full-time, while Elizabeth's commuting from London when she needs artistic inspiration. The work they've done has made this place habitable, but dealing with the cosmetic means they're at risk of ignoring the big jobs that at some stage have to be done. In an ideal world, you'd move out, strip the building to the bare stone, and work it all the way back up. But you've already started doing things, so that's just not the way it's going to happen, in my opinion. Yeah. But what you're doing is you're letting problems down the line sort of stop you doing things now. The original plan was for Elizabeth to move her studio to this outbuilding, although now she's worried it may be too small. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is fantastic, isn't it? So now they're hoping this can provide space for other artists who can stay in extra accommodation they're planning in one of the other barns. I love the breadth of their ambition, but a reluctance to map out their plans in detailed architectural drawings mean they're in danger of storing up problems for later. And the protective side of me wants to set them on the right track.
We're just making it up as we go along. We haven't got a kind of end view plan, but it's just ideas that keep coming, coming around.
Elizabeth likes to treat everything like a painting, so she'll try it,
change
see
it.
what it looks like, change it. And
yeah, it's quite organic, but
a lot of the building work is like that as well.
My feeling is that this project needs a very clear master plan, sooner rather than later, so you know exactly where you're trying to get to, and then you can work out how to get to it. Otherwise, everything else you're doing is kind of pointless. This could be, is and could be stunning.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board then.
Back to the drawing board. Well, not even back, to the drawing board.
The first time.
Yes, exactly. I always admire people like Jeremy and Elizabeth who throw themselves so fully into building their dream. And with so much creativity at their fingertips, I can't wait to come back and see the finished results. On the next leg of my journey, I head to the coast's most spectacular landmark as I seek inspiration to build my own dream home by the sea.
I don't think there would be a better place anywhere on the planet to be.
And meet the couple with the stunning seaside home whose spending went through the roof.
Double budget.
Yes. Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
This breathtaking Northern Irish shoreline can't help but lift your spirits. And I'm on the last leg of my journey before heading home. I've already seen some of the best the Antrim Coast has to offer, but it also boasts a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And I'm hoping a visit there will help inspire me to create my own fantasy seaside home.
Now, one place just about everyone does know about Northern Ireland is here. It's the Giant's Causeway. And it is extraordinary. I've obviously seen lots of pictures of it over the years, but to be here is quite overwhelming. I think it's hard to understand the scale and the intricacy of all of these 40,000 basalt columns. You know, it's like this giant pixelated landscape where the maths and the physics that drive the universe have come to the fore. It is actually jaw-dropping, really special.
As an architectural designer, I can't hope to compete with this thing of natural wonder, this explosion of volcanic violence. But I can use it as a template for my own distinctive home.
For me, this coast is really so much about geology. You've got these amazing stacks of standing stone, you've got these huge cliffs right on the seashore, and then just inland, like huge giant castles and ramparts all along the coast. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
So if I could choose anywhere to build, it would be on a perfectly placed stone column in Ballantoy Bay, where I visited Newton Pemprase's extraordinary home.
I'd bring up a series of these dense stone shapes, very sort of geological in there and a bit random in their shape.
Rising out of the rock itself, the house would have something of the Flintstones about it, the columns providing shelter and privacy for the 3 bedrooms and kitchen.
And then between that would be this lovely kind of folding metal roof that just sort of hides and sits between these very heavy mass of stone.
Filling the gaps between rock and metal would be crystalline glass, giving a fascinating living space. Even arriving home would be special, via a rope bridge suspended from the Ballantoy cliffs.
So you can imagine in a storm, that would be epic to be up on this stone tower. But also when the sun comes out and the wind dies off, when you could be up on your little roof terrace. And I don't think there would be a better place anywhere on the planet to be. This would be a fantastic house.
That rock's the key. It's just been sitting there, waiting for something to happen for millions of years. For the final house in my journey, I'm heading back into the more sedate charms of the seaside resort of Portrush.
Even on an overcast day like this, there's something appealing about the arc of Portrush Bay. And it's this view that led Steve and Leslie Daniels to swap city life in Belfast for a wonderful home on the coast.
Portrush's golden beaches may be a well-kept secret amongst the locals, but its reputation in golfing folklore has gone global. Two major winners were born here, Darren Clarke and Graham McDowell, and it's the only place outside the mainland to host the British Open. So where better to meet Steve and Leslie than just a Rory McIlroy drive from their newly built home. So what brought you to Portrush?
Well, as you can see, Charlie, it certainly wasn't the golf. It was more we were looking for a home by the sea, really. We'd lived and worked in cities all our life, and as I was coming up to retirement, we were really just looking for a nice spot. We were walking along the front, saw a couple of properties along there, and Leslie said, what if one of these two properties ever came up, we'd seriously think about buying up here.
And a week later, one come up.
One came up.
God, me and my big mouth. Well, look, shall we get this round wrapped
Right,
up
okay.
and go and have a look?
Yeah,
sure.
Oh!
But while Steve and Leslie might not know the difference between a birdie and a bunker, their house is perfection to a T. Ranged over 3 floors with spectacular views over the beach, Black Rock's sleek, sharp profile define it as a building that stands out from the crowd. Its steel-framed, cantilevered roofs trimmed with zinc appear to cascade down to the sea, while an exterior palette of slate and white render, mirrored by the subtle tones inside, infuse the whole house with a sense of calm. This is a lovely space. I love the quality of light. You know, you've got the big roof lights, the high-level corner window, the big corner window, and the other one on that side. It's just fantastic. Black Rock replaced a cramped house that had stood on the site for 100 years. Steve, who worked in international finance, and Leslie felt such a great location deserved something with more panache. What was the brief that you gave the architects?
Can we make the most of the views?
The views, yeah.
Both looking straight out and to the side. But also, as you said, we wanted to get plenty of light flooding in, and we wanted it to appear sort of like open and flowing, really.
Floor-to-ceiling windows either side of a central fireplace, together with reflective white walls and kitchen units, allow the lounge, dining and cooking areas to combine in an economical use of space. I like the level change as well. It's so nice when you have a level change between a sitting area and a sort of eating, dining area, and you re-establish these ideas of rooms. A mix of polished walnut floorboards and ceramic tiles add a warm hint of luxury to this downstairs area, while a double-height atrium creates space for a grand staircase. This is a very striking stair, isn't it? I love the dark wood and stainless steel. It's a really nice combination. Leading to the couple's master bedroom above. Oh, nice bedroom. Great view. Really great. Look at that. And then all your, interior decoration, was that something that you did?
Well, yes.
I managed closely the build of the house, and like all good programmes I watch about being within budget, we came in sort of like within 10% of the budget on the house.
I
thought it was good to hear from you as an expert to know that I did that well.
Yeah.
Leslie was given a budget for the interior of the house, and she was
Say no more.
She was about 100% over budget.
Double budget.
Yes. But isn't it nice?
Yeah. A double budget, yeah, it's lovely. No, it's very nice. It's very tasteful. I love the colours. I really like the greys. I love this fabric, and I really like the use of the voile on, the light fabrics on the stairs to dampen the sound. I think it's brilliant for double budget. I think you've done a lovely job. I mean, it's great to be able to slide open this door and get out onto the balcony, check out the weather, check out the surf.
Check out the surface, yeah.
This has got to be one of the most perfect places to build a house because you can see the surf break from bed. That's true. You know what I mean? It doesn't get better than that. With its open outlook and chilled interior, Black Rock marks a huge change from the couple's globe-trotting life before retirement.
And how has that move from cities to up here on the coast change your lifestyle?
Oh, it's definitely slowed Steve down, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we always going, at a mad pace, and I think just coming here, it's just a calming influence being in and around the sea. I think the other thing as well is many friends, they've been a bit sceptical about coming to Northern Ireland, and then they've come and they've visited the house, seen us at the sea, and the downside there is we can't get rid of them. Yeah. They're all back on repeat visits.
Well, that'll teach you to be getting such a nice house. Do you know what I mean? Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Cool, confident and sophisticated, Black Rock represents the kind of fresh start Northern Ireland has been striving for so long. With its golden beaches and extraordinary coastal landscape, there's a feeling Antrim's sunshine years are back for good.
For many people, and me included, Northern Ireland's recent history, the Troubles, have obscured the truth about this place, and that is, it is stunningly beautiful. Every landscape and seascape seems to get better than the last. It's just a relentless display of nature at its finest, and tucked in amongst that are some very unusual, quirky and interesting houses and people. I think for me, it has been a journey of the unexpected, and I will be back.
Next time, I'm in Dorset, where contemporary masterpieces soak up the sunlight. Traditional homes blend old and new, and seafront properties spring extraordinary surprises.
That is unexpected.